Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with the GNE TV. It was yesterday afternoon, I went to a special show with my wife, invited by Mr. Chow, James Chow, for his musical on stage at El Portal Hotel in North Hollywood. I knew this because he and we did several times promotion of the musical. It was not until the moment I sat there to hear the first note did I realize, oh my God, I'm really looking at a major hit. Right? So today, momentum, I would like to share my excitement with my audiences together with the creator of the whole thing, my good friend, composer, writer, director, and the producer of such a grand musical called Mannequin Man by Day, Tenor by Night. Shortened for short, Tenor by Night. So, sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you. We are really been talking about this.
You look very tired.
Thank you, Jack.
I know you look very tired.
Well,
and you have a good reason to be tired. Right.
Well, this has been a very exciting and successful run for my musical. And actually, it's not just my musical. I think it's a musical. This musical belongs to America, to American audience.
Good take, yes, good take. And I can back you up for that.
It's a new musical. A lot of people do not know it, not familiar with it. But once you see it, just like Jack, you did, and all the people who saw it, they were totally surprised. It's like they used the word blown away unexpectedly to see a show, a musical like this in this excellence,
Exactly true. I recall there are two scenes that caused me and my wife both in tears. We were busy wiping. And it's not a tragedy, it's not a thing. Just it goes so deep, it touches, it vibrates your own mind, and you echo with it. When you echo with it, you do feel the excitement of the characters in the musical. And I believe there are lots of aspects to talk about. Okay. From the story, that's one aspect, right? And stretches into the musical, the script. There's another aspect, and the music itself that goes along. I gave a 2 thumbs up, right? To each of those categories, I gave 2 thumbs up. And then lastly, lastly, the performance, and I believe everybody did a huge, excellent job, right? And what's my total surprise, my dear friend, sitting here doing the job I do, I see a lot of stuff going on me, right, going on around me. With my fellow Chinese American friends, they never take a break in doing so. In other words, there is an event almost every single day. But the problem is that the American mainstream society do not know what's going on, right? They do not know what you think about. They do not know why you dance, right? For example, even if when it comes to a song, what does it sing? What do the lyrics go, right? Something like that. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I think it's good to keep your necessity, and to make a living in America as an immigrant. But at the same time, you want to share your cultural heritage. But there are different ways to do it. Some people choose to just do it within the Chinese community, within their own community. They share and they love doing it. And that's good too. But I've been into this country almost 40 years, 38 years. So
Me 36.
Oh,
So
36.
we kind of like we can negotiate. Yeah.
So I like this country. I feel I found the belonging, but then I also deep in my own heart I have the culture background from China. So how do I put this together and show my feeling to American people? In my 38 years, I realized that you live in America just like the English idiom saying, do in Rome what the Romans do.
Yeah.
Right?
Once in Rome,
Right.
the Romans do.
So you have to make yourself be part of this society.
Fusion.
Yeah, fusion, yeah. So then I have a lot of American friends, and I have a lot of Chinese friends. So we share, so we can show them that together, this is a melting pot. And I like to share my culture, my heritage with American people. How to do that? I think language is a very important bridge for us to get that across.
If not a bridge, at least as a barrier.
Yeah. So that's why I wrote this music, this musical in English. So the lyrics is in English and the dialogues is also in English. So then American people can understand what my story is, what we are talking about in this musical. So when I hear, actually yesterday, when the actor was singing in English, right? The whole show is like that. American audience are already clapping during the singing. They understood what he was saying. And that really made me feel so emotional.
You call it applause.
Yeah.
It's not applauses. It's a roaring. It's a roaring. It's a roaring. And my dear friends, this is what I feel about it. Of course, we all love this country. That's why we're here, right? And each of us has come here with us, bringing lots of stories, right? We have the feeling. And of course, we love China back home, right? Okay, now, once you put together a feeling, you call that feeling nostalgic. You miss home. That's it.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah, the American friends may say, "Oh yeah, those bunch of Chinese guys, they're starting home missing again." But that's it. That's it. As a matter of fact, we're not only home missing. We're not only based upon our artistic activities on nostalgic basis, right? We are emerging into the society. However, with the fact that you each have a different story, right?
Right.
In James' case, he brought his story into the musical, make it understood by both English speaking and the Chinese speaking.
Right.
The amazing part was last night was that not a single Chinese word was sung at that musical, though it is understood by both English-speaking and the Chinese-speaking audiences.
Yes.
That's why the applauses, I don't call them applauses, I call them roaring. Roaring.
Thank you.
They hail. Yeah. They hail.
Yeah.
And I typically noticed you did throw some sense of humor in there.
Yes.
Right? And every time when that bubble pops, right? And the audience gives a very spontaneous response.
Right.
For example, I'll give you an example. The wife and the husband on their 30th anniversary looking at the picture of their wedding, right? And the wife says, wow, what a wonderful, what a handsome young man you were, right? Of course, the husband agreed.
Yeah.
And then he says at the very blink of the second, I were.
Not anymore now.
In a way, he typically pronounces the word "were"
right.
in a broken way.
Yeah.
Right. To show how strange the word sound to him.
Yeah.
All night he was a pretty much American accent person, right?
Yeah.
So only at that moment he says, "Oh, I were, I were." The audience kind of wow, broke into laughter.
Yeah.
There are many of those. Moments, right?
Yeah, because this musical I made it comedy. You know, it's in the beginning, before I made this musical, I was thinking about should I make it opera or tell the story in opera format or in a music format. But I think we're in America. We want happy endings. We want to have a...
Not exactly that way. Not exactly that way. Not exactly the Americans want a happy ending or the Chinese want a tragedy ending. Not that way.
No, it's the opera.
It depends. Depends on different stories, right? Depends on different stories. My dear friend, today I'm getting excited. Even though this musical, Tenor by Night, I did several times with my friend James Chow, the creator. I call him with many titles, putting together writer, composer, producer, director, putting together, I call creator of the whole thing. We talked about the musical Tenor by Night. It was yesterday afternoon. I, with my wife, went there. We did see the whole thing. To be honest with you, there were twice of the moment that I was in tears, right? I can prove it. I can still have something in my pocket anyway. So it is good. It is so good. How good? Let's take a break. When we come back, we will continue. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. It is a moment talking about some good experiences I had yesterday with my friend James Chow for his musical Tenor by Night. The full name is Mannequin Man by Day, Tenor by Night. It tells a story of a Chinese-American man who came here with nothing, started his business, became successful making those mannequins. You know, the mannequins in the store, you put clothes on, the woman type, the female type, male type thing, the mannequin. He called himself, he's so successful, he is also recognized as a mannequin man in the America, right? However, well, when the days are over, at night he thinks about what he really loves. He loves singing. Tenor. He was born with a golden voice, only lack of training, lack of a higher level education on that. So he wanted to be a tenor, right? So now there's contradiction between daytime and nighttime. That starts the whole thing. It is such a simple point, yet so complicated. I like that, right? You know, sometimes when they write a story, they want the story to start with a huge conflict, like an atom bomb, like a nuclear bomb. Bah! The whole world is giving attention to, right? No, as a matter of fact, no. Such a small thing that says, daytime, I enjoy what I do. I'm the best of mannequin man. At the night, when wife calls, say, hey, you got to come home. You got to remember, you can forget any single day of the other 364, but not today. today, what's so special for today? Today is somebody's anniversary. Is that so? Oh yeah? Did you ever marry somebody, lady? Something like that kind. Oh, I'm sorry. Like that. And that very, that's the very moment that starts the whole thing. And by the way, the orchestra did an excellent job.
Yeah.
The music was so intense, right? And
I composed 29 songs, 29 pieces.
And the amazing part that he composes the music. He work on those little notes here there, right? Now, forgot what I started. I started with the I wanted to tell the story. Okay, talking about the American ways and the Chinese way. All right, now. When the lady and the wife, when the wife and when the husband and the wife had a little conflict, all right, about their nighttime, the neighbors complained too because he's too loud, and everybody, and he went to the park. Even the park, the elder people doing their tai chi. Oh yeah, you're too loud, man. Can you shut up? Can you go elsewhere? Try elsewhere. His own daughter, his own son, everybody complaining. Wife says, "Why don't you go?" All right, he did go. He did go with a package. He went to his own warehouse. Of course, a huge warehouse with a full house of mannequins. He started singing there. All right. And that is the moment, deep into the night, something happens. Right? Okay. And that is the part I want to point out. The American way of the Chinese way. Right? The Chinese way of writing at that specific moment, dark, deep in the night, when somebody is singing, it is more chance than ever to call some ghosts to come around you. Right? And then probably a ghost story shall start. Right? That's the American way. Yeah. Right? So, and especially midnight about around 12 o'clock, right? There goes something like that, of course. And if you want to make the story spicy though, you put some woman ghosts, right? To come around you, to come solicit you, something like that, right? Okay, now, that term was made American way. He was singing, the main character singing, at the concentration of American magician. A magician showed up. Right. With the magician, with his magic, he made lots of change, lots of turns, even including the part that turned his wife into a mannequin himself. Later. Which was much later at a point sold, even sold to New York, and the husband had to chase to the Never Delay airline to rescue her, something like that. Yeah. That whole thing. Okay, now my point is that a Chinese American writer, in writing this kind of a story, and into a scene. At which point it is so easy to use your own way of thinking to go to the ghost part, right? You did make a turn, go to the American part, right? The American part, you put American magician there, and that leads the whole story to a tragedy into comedy. Am I right?
Yes.
Did I read your mind?
Yeah. Well, I think this is my way of moving into the mainstream of America. Mm-hmm. I've done that in my business.
All right. I see.
I sell mannequins to major department stores across the country. We sell to Macy's, JCPenney, and Kohl's. If you go to JCPenney stores, probably half of the mannequins, any store, is from my company.
All right. Okay.
So we are able to get into the mainstream because we understand the customers, so understand what they need. But in the musical, same way. I watch a lot of musical done in America. I bought all kinds of Oscar awarded musical DVDs, and I watch and how things, unfolded and how they play out.
There's one saying, quite an exaggeration. However, it describes your sales pitch, because you in front of the store saying, right? Not you, the character. I'm the best American man. I'm the best American man. The best American on earth. The best American on earth.
Yeah.
That's the sales pitch. Your sales pitch, right? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good thing too, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you did this in the American way.
Yes.
Right? It is because that you've been here for 30, 80 years.
Yes.
You have taken enough of the nutrition,
Right.
all right, of the American lifestyle. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay. From that point on, when the story goes deeper into the conflicts of the warehouse, there's one time that caught me in tears. Right? In the warehouse, also deep in the night, right? Wife gone nowhere, right? Nobody know. I mean, wife to his understanding, wife is at home.
Yeah.
Right, and then he called the wife. The daughter picked up, says, "Mom is with you, right? Right." So
Yeah.
wife is gone.
Yeah.
At that very moment, he was so anxious. He was so, so worried. All right, and he started to sing, expressing himself. Accidentally, he hit a high C.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
Remember? He was surprised himself. He said, "Was that a high C?"
Broke the glass.
Yeah, that was a high C. Boom. Broke another glass. That's a high C. Yeah, that's a high C, wasn't it? The exciting moment. It tells exactly a man working under pressure for some goals for so long. All of a sudden, he hit it.
Yeah, it's the love, the feeling for his wife.
Yeah. Everything mixed.
Yeah.
Everything. He was so desperate, right?
Yeah, right.
He was
Desperate.
where to find her. Where is she? Where is she? Well, and she said, "Come home." The version.
Where are you?
Where are you? Where are you? And to the life, you and me.
Yeah.
You and me with the me. Out goes the high C. Boom. Glass broke. And was that a high C? May. Boom. Another glass broke. All right. That excitement for himself under that most embarrassed moment, most worried moment, most pressured moment, he did, however, reach the high C. That is.
We as a writer of the book and also the composer, when the audience were together with the story and got so anxious, so excited, and made me feel very, very satisfied, very gratified, because
of course,
like the plot worked, the story worked.
Yes, don't you?
So it's especially bang.
Yeah.
Bang, bang. the whole audience, they just wow.
There are three times.
Three times,
right? 3 times. And the one lady behind me, that was high C.
Really?
Yelled behind me. She was so out of control. Said, that was a high C. It happened on the spot.
Maybe even before the actor realized.
You may check the recording of yesterday.
Yeah.
That's the 2 o'clock
2 o'clock.
show. And there, unless they edited it out, right? But there was that's what's high C, something like that. Right? So now, my point is that for a Chinese American writer to lead the American audience into his own story, not only deep, but that deep, that they forget everything, including myself. I was crying at that moment. As a writer myself, I know I'm the one know how hard I am working towards my goal. Right? When I got my first award with my Stormy Heaven, a Soaring Paradise.
Oh, okay.
And I went to a ceremony, and that was the exact moment that you broke the high C. Look at that. I exactly feel that excitement. And plus, your excitement was at the moment you were embarrassed too.
Yeah.
You were worried.
Yeah.
The character wants to go look for his wife. Wife is gone, right?
Right.
Good. My dear friends, sharing is always the best thing of life, especially when you have a like-minded friend sitting next to you to share successes or even moments of failure. It's still something good, right? Today I'm doing it with my friend, Mr. James Chow, who really got me surprised with his musical. And I went to see myself. Seeing is believing, I tell you. Sorry part is that there's only tomorrow, right?
No, tomorrow.
Only tomorrow left.
Tomorrow night and also Wednesday night. So Tuesday night and Wednesday night.
So only 2 more days. Two more days,
yeah.
all right? And there is no more.
Not until probably next year. We will decide to when to do
You want to go for
touring.
For a tour, for a like U.S. premiere, whole country premiere tour.
Well, this is
this
is the world premiere already.
I see.
Alberta Theater. Alberta Theater, that's what they told me. If you want to go to Broadway, if you're in Los Angeles, you have to go to Alberta first.
I read the introduction yesterday there, talking about it, everything, including the Beatles. The Beatles started there with their first show.
Right.
Okay, my dear friends, let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we will continue, please. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow, with the East West Show with GNE TV. Today we're talking about a success. I mean, huge success, a tremendous, immense success.
Thank you.
Made by my friend James Chow in the area of musical in Hollywood. The typical important part is that he is a Chinese American. He learned his English only as a second language, if not third one. He started writing, and he ended up in a way that you have the American audiences totally convinced. Speaking of audiences, I noticed yesterday, when the show starts, when the show started, there is no people in the hallway, not even a single one in the hallway. Whereas in other places, as a Mission Playhouse, though, you go check. There's half of audience inside, there's half of audiences outside. Okay? It is not only the show itself, it's a lifestyle we're talking about. I'm not necessarily criticizing which is good, which is right, which is bad. I am talking about to show the respect to the performers. You'd better be in the house, not out of the house. And you're on stage, you do not know what's happening outside though. There's nobody outside. And then during the show, the first and the second, during the intermission, for the 10 minutes intermission, only then people go to restroom or whatsoever. And before and after, the first half, second half, nobody, zero, I can guarantee, zero left a seat. All right.
I think it's because the story has no down moment at all.
There's one by one, there's so tight.
Just very tight, and you keep moving, so the audience is attracted to see what's going to happen next. Especially the second half is running so fast and so in a speed and with a lot of surprises. Even the first half,
when you lay out the story, though, the pace, you call pace, the pace is still close enough, still next to each other. They're very, very, connections are very thin. Also, the orchestra helps a lot.
Right.
When the story is down, when the story is flat, though, the music in between pushed up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right. And also, I noticed another detail that you had moments to throw those American commercials in it. For example, you were killing me, Larry. You remember that? You were killing me, Larry.
Yeah.
His business partner,
right,
for his business policies, right? There was a little
we
disagreement.
just try to get some reaction from the audience, so we put a lot of humor in it.
Exactly.
So
that may necessarily have any relation or much relation with the story itself, though.
Yeah.
But that is the American most recognizable line of commercial.
Well, that also shows that I am so much into the American culture. Yeah. So I understand what is popular in the commercials, in the TV, what people know.
Exactly.
So when they say, "Oh, your mattress would be free," right? Then I say, "Okay, maybe I change it. Your mannequin will be free." and then
start dancing. We'll be free. Like that. Yeah, you really push it up, and there has and those first half. There's no twist, right? The plot has not been stretched out yet, right? It was only till the second half when the musician comes, right? So the stretch of the first half is even a tougher job to do. More difficult job to do.
It's laying the ground, before the really big drama. Yeah. But I think it was good that we actually, before the intermission, we built up the suspension.
Yes.
By telling people, well, now the wife is also becoming a mannequin.
But no. But by the end of the first half, though, the husband ends up in the warehouse already.
Yeah.
So the suspension is there.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
It gives the suspension lots of expectations to talk about, right? Would he survive or something happen, right? Especially when Chinese American audience is there. When the one I mentioned, might be some ghost, right? They started thinking. They started guessing. Lots of speculations at that moment. With that intermission, well, and during the intermission, people will guess, right? So, and that is not only good ending of the first half, but also gives a lead, quite a lead to the second. Right.
Yeah.
So. Yesterday, you introduced me to Professor Lauren.
Lauren, yeah.
Lauren, right?
Yeah.
So was she the one that gives you guidances or whatever?
Yeah, I took
I recall
independent studies with her.
I recall last time that you mentioned some professor. Was that she?
Yeah, that was her.
All right.
So when I presented the idea of turning my 10 by 9 concert in 2013 into a musical. And that was my goal, to go back to school to study music in Cal Arts. That's my goal. So during my studies over there in Cal Arts, and I presented this idea, and she challenged me to put some conflict in the story. Because originally I was thinking, my 10 by 9 story would be showing I just like singing during the day, and then selling mannequin during the day and singing at night, and also bring back some Chinese culture, like actually what I did 50 years ago, Chinese the Zhiqing, intellectual youth. So my professors told me that it's a good idea. You want to put some Chinese acrobatic, some Chinese dancing
Elements,
elements into it. But that could be only considered vaudeville. It is a format of art.
However, okay, let me stop you right there, right? To your professor, she may say, yeah, well, whatever you put there is just an element. However, the selection of the element makes sense to me. Right?
Yeah.
If you, in the purpose of ID yourself, not yourself, the character himself, right? In the purpose, for the purpose of IDing the character himself, though, you may easily pick up a song, 我爱你中国, like that. Do that. For example, that tells exactly where this character comes from. However, in order to tell where he comes from, you pick up the Chinese Jiqing, right? Jiqing has a benefit. Why? Because the benefit you to go back to the relationship of the husband and wife.
Right.
They started back there.
Right.
That's why they opened their album saying, "What a handsome young man you were," right? Said, "I was, I was," like that, right?
Yeah.
So that has a benefit in it.
Yes. Yeah.
Not only so. Speaking of element, though, there's the other element that you put in, the acrobats.
Yeah.
The contortion acrobat.
Right.
Contortion, call it the contortion acrobats, right?
Yeah.
So making a mannequin do a contest. The winner of the contest shall dance with the owner of the mannequin business.
Yeah.
Right. So that is not only, once again, is not only an element. That element builds the story,
right,
so that when he started dancing with the winner, something familiar, right? Something, the hand, the waist, the movement, the gesture stuff goes on and on. Oh, and then he picks up the phone to call. Where are you? I'm not Mom. Mom is gone. Mom is not home. Then that gives explosion of the story, and the plot goes bigger, and the twist goes all the way to other direction, right? So I believe that your officer was right to let you put some element in it, and you did even better way that you purposely pick up the elements. Those are good elements, right?
So going back to the advice from my professor, Lauren, she said you need to have conflict, you need to have drama. So I told her, I be a pretty lucky guy. My wife is very loving, and our marriage is very smooth for 32 years. So it's hard for me to think of some like a very tragic stuff.
I know what you mean,
right?
So
how do I do that? Then I thought very hard, and so couldn't sleep at night. But then the next morning I went back to her office. I told her I found a story. The story is, in reality, we do have sometimes, arguing about when to sing, when not to sing.
Conflict.
Right, conflict. So, and then my wife would be so angry, she would kick me out of the house. And then I moved to the mannequin warehouse. Then anything can happen. The story just opened up totally.
Yes.
Wide open.
The possibility enlarged the tenfold, right?
Yeah.
And from then on, like I said, you refuse to go the Chinese way to let the ghost play and let magician play. With the magician, though, you put commercial stuff in there, and there is a mannequin show. The world's largest mannequin show, whereby the mannequin guy bought a bunch of mannequins, including the wife. The wife was packed and sold, right? No delay.
Jack, you're giving away too much of the story.
And what's your airline? What's the airline? You remember when the word "no delay airline" broke up? The audience broke into huge laughter. No delay airline. There's no such a no delay airline yet, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, my dear friends, let's take a moment now. When we come back, we say a few things, but we will give you time to watch a little bit, especially the tail of the music itself. It depends on how much he wants to, well, let it go for free. All right, we'll be right back. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience, and welcome back to the show. I'm getting excited, and something I'm really happy that I did see. That is the musical written, created, sponsored, directed by this wonderful man, my dear friend James Chow. It was such a success. How many auditions do their theater hold?
The theater has about 361 seats. Yeah. So it's for the musical industry. That's like pretty good size, because you can do musicals in theater that have 99 seats, or 299, and these are different levels. And then
those level up the kind of structure.
399 we belong to that category, and it's like in the middle level of size. In terms of size,
everybody enjoys it, and I did have a little conversation with some other audiences myself. They loved it.
Yeah,
they really loved it.
I'm so happy to hear a lot of compliments and congratulations from the audience that I didn't know. I never met them. All these strangers, they came to see the show, and then they told me very convincingly. They say, "Hey, excellent."
Excellent. Yeah,
they say that, and then even moving is that they would say, your show make me better. Okay, they say my show make them better.
Okay.
So because some of the people, they have the struggle also.
I believe that, you're right. I believe your musical makes Chinese American more confident about themselves.
Yes.
Because you showed a example of success, how can be successful,
right.
And being successful is not that difficult. It can happen. It can happen to me. It can happen to you, right? Once it happened to me, it will happen to you. This is a significant number one.
Yeah.
However, to me, there's a bigger significance, which I mentioned already. You made the Americans who do not speak Chinese as a language understand what these Chinese Americans are doing, thinking.
Right.
What are they doing? What are they doing?
Yeah.
I often say to my friend, sky is only this big, right? If you use this as a frame for picture, you look at the sky, you frame your sky, right? You frame your sky. How big is the sky? The sky is only this big.
Right.
There's no bigger than that because you frame it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Now, there are two ways to do. Number one, you better not look at the sky with a frame. You look at the sky. Like people look at the sky. You don't have to use a frame to look at the sky, right? You don't have to look at a telescope to look at the sky. No. You just look at the sky with your naked eye. This is way one.
Yeah.
Way two, if you want to really use a frame though, you put some special element in there. You emphasize this part of the sky. You emphasize this part of the sky with a better story. So people looking at the part that you were looking at, they say, wow, that's a very convincing piece of sky.
Yeah.
So now, what you did was exactly falls into that ballpark, right? Number one, it is the sky. And number two, you frame it. You put the Chinese American elements in there all together, and people start to understand. Oh, this is my friend. What Chinese American friends are doing.
Yeah.
The understanding is so precious.
Yes, that's why I enjoy talking to audience after the show. Each show I want to see if they understand it. So I'm really very grateful right now because people are so excited, and they told me your story makes them feel very deep in the heart. They connected with my story. Some American even told me, I want to go home now after seeing your show, because I think his family is now in Japan, and he's here alone doing, he's chasing his passion, but he want to get united with his family now. So because there's a message, how you.
The different message depends how you take.
Right. So, but my goal before I wrote this musical is to, like you were saying, try to portray American, Chinese American, how they live in this society, in this country. So I want to show how we are actually melted in this melting pot. So you mingle with the culture, you mingle with the business. You are in this country, so you cannot just tell just Chinese story. But it's more like
there's another point. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. I have to cut you short on this one because I may forget, right? Remember at the time when you were talking, when the scene was in the village, the fishing village, when a bunch of young men with a rudder, they do the rudder dance, right?
Yeah.
I know this. The majority of those are American face, right?
Right.
Why I point that? You play colorblind.
Right.
That is a very, very, very worth of your pointing out, right? These days, the word color, the word race, are so obstacles to our day-to-day life.
Right.
Sometimes when even people giving you appraisal, good compliment, they still throw the political or racial stuff in there, right? And James, your English is so good, right? Well, I will say your English is better than mine. You're good too. How about that, right? So that behind the line or below the line, they're saying you shouldn't be doing this good, right? You shouldn't be doing this good because you're Asian.
Yeah.
Right now, okay. Seeing that scene though, I feel that this writer, director, or whoever, or choreographer, trying to promote the color racial blind.
Right.
That is another point I would like to point out.
Yeah.
Even some of the girls are American girls.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but at the same time, this show is really another example of trying to bring Asian images into the main stage. Just like in the big screen, Crazy Rich Asians, is doing quite well in the big office, boxes. So now on theater stage, Tender by Night is getting attention now.
Yeah. And back to the story, the guy says, I want to go home, remember?
Right.
He just said, I'll go home. a good play, a good play is always that, well, different customer, different audience can take a different take.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Can feel a different feeling, right? And one says, okay, my wife's so beautiful, and she's such a wonderful woman. I can't continue to sacrifice that. Lots of families, lots of couples broke up because of that.
Yeah.
Right? So it's happening around us almost every single day.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of divorces, forced divorces.
Right.
Unwilling divorces.
Sometimes just because your habit or your habit or passion.
Because they are separated for too long.
Yeah.
Right? And then separate for too long. So, well, don't do that again. And, well, one last thing to mention about in your whole thing, whole production, I see lots of optimism.
Yeah, yeah.
Optimism. I especially like your song, this song, Happy Wife, Happy Life. Right? So, happy wife. What the lyric, the whole thing? Happy life, happy wife.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. Make her smile, make her laugh.
Yeah, make her smile, make her
laugh.
Make her laugh. All right,
Yeah.
good.
And make her think she's the better half.
All right.
And then also, happy wife, happy life. Sing her songs, bring her flowers, and feeling romantic all day long.
All right, very good.
And, yeah.
Well, about the same thing. The American way says the American way tells the same thing. No money, no honey, right? No money, no honey. However, the way happy wife, happy life, and the no money, no honey, they tell almost the same thing, but I can see James tells from a different perspective.
Right.
Different perspective, right? And in order to make her happy, why don't you do this? And by doing this, you're happy too. This is where he is pointing. And no money, no honey means that, okay, I'm the money holder, and I want to make you happy. That's it.
Let's say another song that a lot of people like is Keep Your Day Job.
Keep your day job. Yeah, keep your day job.
A lot of people have a very strong reaction to it because there are a lot of artists who are working on a regular job during the day, but at night they want to do painting, they want to do dancing, they chase the passion. So they think, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. You know, someday maybe I can. You know.
But it's philosophical because you got to keep your day job to keep eating.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll starve to death.
So
right?
that's why the lyric would go, keep your day job. They advise me, making a living is a priority.
Yeah, make a living a priority. Okay, my dear friend, my lovely audience, is a little over time, but we're happy about it. Today with my friend, Mr. James Chow, creator of Tenor by Night, which is so well received by Southern Californians. It was a huge success. I wish him further success, and the crew and everybody. So thank you for joining us. I'll leave a little 2 minutes of area for you to see the little trailer. Right?
And then the website is the tenorbynight.com.
Tenorbynight.com. All right.
Two more performances.
Sure. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the trailer.
The stars sparkle, lighting up the stage.